What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I got a little bit of information for you. So as you guys know, I've had the Green Dragon for sale. Just recently posted it up for sale like October 31st, and I think today is like November the 15th. So we have a potential buyer that's supposed to be sending a deposit in today for the Dragon, and it will be going to California. So that's pretty awesome. It's gonna get some West Coast action. Also, we've got another project in here that's a customer's. Well, it's a Captiva Blue EG hatch, and it's getting an all-wheel drive conversion. So I've been given the task of finishing it up. So I went ahead and they already had the diff mount, lower control arms, and the trailing arms installed. You see, I've still got a little bit of finishing up work to do. It's like putting these bolts in where they go. I welded in this bar, the front part of the diff mount, and then doing the fuel lines. I've got to finish up getting all the stuff on the motor situated. So basically this car has a K24 A2 engine stock with an element trans. I've been working on, the little things behind the scenes. But right now, today, I'm going to be working on doing some S1 locking plates in his rear diff. This is a CRV rear diff, I believe. It is one of the newer versions of the diffs. It's not the old version like I have on the Dragon. Show you guys something else, because on mine I did a video for pinning the clutches. Oh look, there's Evo here too, in the clutches on mine. So yeah, I've shown you guys how to do the pin clutches, but now I'm gonna show you how to do the locking plates. So stay tuned, let's get to it. I'm gonna go ahead and just make sure that it doesn't have any fluid in it. Looks like it might have a little bit. With this style diff, with it having the locking plates, we're not going to use dual pump fluid in it. We're going to go back with the gear lube like we did on the other one with the pin clutches. All right, so we've got to take this nut off just like we did on the first gen. I think that's 34. All right. I got that. We got our flat washer, a little nylon washer in here. Just gotta be sure to keep all those straight. Alright, so I'm just gonna use a couple of these holes right here and get some a little bit longer 12mm bolts. So these are just some regular 12mm bolts, like out of pretty much any regular Honda 12mm bolt. Tighten these down in there. It's probably not the best idea to have my camera like on the table like it is, because it's shaking a lot. All right. Huh? All right, so you see that pulls that right off. 1 second. All right, so now I gotta have an 8mm to get all these bolts out around the case. So now we should be able to split the case here. It is gonna make a mess, so I'm gonna go ahead and put down some towels. Because even though we drained the fluid, there's still gonna be some in there, and almost guarantee it. There we go. You see there's some fluid coming out down there. So I'm glad I put that down there. All right, so in here there's a little washer. It basically goes on the front of the clutch pack. So we'll set that to the side. We'll set my case to the side there. So this is the clutch pack. Now, if you guys have watched my previous video where I did the pinning of those clutches, this clutch pack is huge compared to those. So you gotta get this snap ring out of here. This right here on the outer. Just get a flathead screwdriver and we can pop that out of that ring in there. If I was pinning these clutches, I would just take all this pump assembly out, but we have to have the pump assembly to push upon this to make sure we keep all this together. Yo! Let's see. If any of you ever messed with an automatic transmission, it's kind of like the clutches in the transmission on an automatic Honda. Kind of crazy. All right, put that over there. And so it's just steels and clutches. This is a lot more complex than the other ones that I normally mess with. Oh, it's got another locking ring in here. Wow. Like I said, a lot more complex than the other style. Alrighty, so just pop that right out, didn't it? Got a big old spring in there. So let's open up these. Heck, they may just be thick enough to there replace the whole assembly. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's going to be the case. So I think we can just, it's actually the first time doing locking plates, so. Alright, leave that out. So all these have a number on them, so we're going to try to line that up to make sure the alignment on them is all proper. Alright, so it slides in there. I'm going to go ahead and put this centerpiece in there. Continue stacking these in. Alright, so we've got all those in there. So now we got to put the other ring in here. I did have the spring, which I think, oh yeah, spring. I actually had this in there backwards. The spring sits down in this, like that. So this one goes like this. And this is how it came apart. Alright, so it's got a groove this fits down in here. So what I'm going to do is real quick, I'm just going to mark this so I kind of have an idea where that's supposed to line up and I'm not guessing. So then once I put this spring back in here, so we can push that down in there, lines up just like it's supposed to. Get this lock ring. Started down in there. so I was able to get that down in there, get that lock ring seated. Okay. And then this piece went in, it's a little thin piece, and then this one went in like so. And then these last little couple clutches, these aren't going to do anything. Because what we did in here is going to actually lock it. And then we'll have to put this last lock ring in. See if we can smash it down in there. Golly, boy, it's tough. All right, so funny enough, what I did is I used a transmission gear that would fit on top of that clutch pack but not interfere with the snap ring. The socket on top of that gear, pushed it down a little bit, snap ring went right in. So now we're good. Okay, let this off and we'll be good to go. All right, so nightfall is quickly approaching, but I got the snap ring in there. All right, so what we got to do now is we got to stand it back up. Okay, with it standing up, I got all these little ball bearings back in there. There's two little tabs on this, and they line up with the spot on this pump. So just make sure you got those lined properly. And we put our clutch pack back on top. I guess we'll have to spin it around a little bit to get it perfectly aligned, maybe. Let's see if I can take this this piece and made it into this. It's almost like it's a secret code or something. Alright, so it's really tight fitting. I don't know if I'm not doing that right or if there's a specific way you're supposed to do this. Alright, so after several attempts, I finally got to where it does align. And if you push the clutch pack down, that bottom does go up in there. So now I've just got it relocated to here in my shop, and I guess I'll just try to finish reassembling it here in the shop. So it's getting kind of dark outside and our lighting is dwindling out there. So to reassemble it, you're going to have it standing up on the end like this though. Clean off this mating surface and then put some fresh Honda Bond on it here, and we'll put our outer case back on it and it should be good to go. So I'm just going to take this razor blade and scrape off any of this. Alright, so one thing before we get too far, make sure you put that washer back up on top of that. The last thing I want to do is have to pull it back apart because we forgot that. I'm just going to clean the outer case up real quick. Just got to make sure our mating surface is clean and free of oil, because that will make it where it doesn't seal as well. Remnants get off in your case, just make sure you clean that out best you can. All right, then I'm gonna clean this mating surface here. A little bit of brake cleaner. And we'll get some Honda Bond. I'm actually gonna put the Honda Bond on the outer case. just because it's easier not having to work around all that mess. This Honda bond is about spent on this tube, but we got enough to do this for sure. All right, so I got me a nice little bead around that, so I'll just take my finger and smear it to make sure we got it all covered really well. We don't want no leaks. No leaky. I actually probably put too much on there, but it'll be all right. All right, so I've got the washer back on here, and I made sure that it'll push down where it's supposed to be. Got my Honda bond all the way around this. We'll just flip it back over. Line up the shaft in here. All right, one thing about Honda bond, I don't like to tighten down my bolts all the way. So what I'll do is I'll get them snug and let it sit overnight, and then come back tomorrow and tighten them down the rest of the way. That way the Honda bond has time to cure and it doesn't smash it all out. Just gonna snug them down. Just where you see that bond starts squeezing out of it, and then stop at that point. That way it's making good contact. And like I said, we'll come back tomorrow and torque all these down. I'll probably just do like 10 foot-pounds or something. But if you can see right now, I'm not hammering these down at all. I'm basically just going to where it starts to squeeze out, and that's it. All right. So then up here on the top, we've got to put our flange on first. All right, and there's a rubber O-ring in there as well. Tap this flange, make sure it's seated. Now the nut will seat it all the way completely, but we put our rubber O-ring on first. All right, so we got the rubber O-ring down in there. Okay, and we'll put the nylon washer. Okay. All right, so we got the rubber O-ring, nylon washer, the flat washer, okay, and then the nut. Let's see. I don't actually know the torque spec for this, so I'll just ugga-dugga it a little bit until we're good and tight. I'm tightening down the nut here. We're feeling good there. You can see I went just a little bit past the previous stake point, so it may be a little bit tighter than it originally was, but you can see, like I said, I think I put too much Honda bond on it because it's squeezing out a good bit, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. So like I said, I'll let that cure till tomorrow. We'll tighten all those down, and I want to say that it's like 10 foot-pounds or something is what you torque these to. And that's pretty much it. Should be ready to go. All right, so it's the next day now, and I just got the diff mounted up in the car. I went ahead and just snugged all these down by hand. Approximately like 10 foot-pounds, like I said. I staked the nut on the flange there. Got all the bolted up here, bolted in the rear. So now we're ready to put the axles in. Also, I got these bolts in. I've still got to tighten them down though, but they are actually in with that spacer in there too. So, whenever you're doing a CRV diff using a Hub City kit, you have to use two 9701 passenger rear axles. So we've got a pair back here that he brought over with the car, and this is them. Let's see, that's one, that's the other. So we have to take off this little dust shield on the one that's going to go on the driver's side, at least on the first gen diff. Yeah, I think on this one too, because this flange here, that dust shield won't fit inside of it, because this side over here, I don't know if you can tell it on camera or not, but this one's a much bigger area than this one. So we have to remove that little dust shield. It just literally knocks off with a small hammer. Let me see. It'd be easier to do with two hands, but I'm holding the camera with one hand. There we go. So that just comes off, and then now that one's ready to install over here. So let me see if we can get these axles installed real quick, and then the back will be done outside of tightening these two bolts. And then he can install his drive shaft and all that stuff later. All right, got that fixed up. All right, so we got both of the axles in. This one, yep, and this one. Heck yeah. You're ready to go now. So if this video is helpful to any of you guys, make sure you smash the like button, leave me a comment below, and consider subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. Hope to see you on another one soon. Peace.